So I'm going to be presenting about Sirikoi, Sirikoi Lodge. We are an 18-bed capacity, which equates to only 9 rooms. We are located in central Kenya, that is in Meru County, within the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy. And we are about 200 kilometers from Nairobi, or from Kenyan capitals, which is Nairobi. And that also equates to only 45 minutes by air. We cannot talk about Sirikoi without mentioning about Sue and the late Willie Roberts, who are the founders of Sirikoi Lodge. Willie was one of the greatest and most instrumental ambassadors for wildlife conservation in Kenya, having set up the first wildlife conservancy in the Mara. And the family has been in the safari business for over 50 years. And Sirikoi is one of their third legacy that they built. And this has also evolved from their lifelong commitment to wildlife conservation combined with community development. So how Sirikoi started is that on hearing that about a parcel of land right adjacent to Lewa Conservancy was being put out for farming. He gathered a few of his friends, and he and the partners purchased the land to secure it for wildlife protection and incorporate it within the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, saving it from what would have been termed as an ecological disaster. So this once, as you can see on the first photo, this was the second photo of the exclusion zone. It was once a maize field, and with time and rewilding project, this has also been turned into what you can see, where you can see the Sirikoi stream as well. That's what has been transformed into a beautiful exclusion zone, which is about 7,500 acres of land. And that is shared between 4 owners, with Sirikoi controlling about 3,000 all to ourselves, which is really good. On to the next slide. Okay. So as earlier mentioned, we are surrounded and directly support one of the most iconic wildlife conservancies in Kenya, that is Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, which gained its UNESCO World Heritage Site status in 2013. And all our guests get a unique opportunity to visit Lewa Wildlife Conservancy and experience firsthand conservation, and also see how conservation works with the amazing anti-poaching unit, and once they go behind the scenes at Lewa. So we as Sirikoi combine eco-luxury, Sirikoi combines eco-friendly luxury with a deep commitment to environmental and cultural, and we are making our destination unique, and all our, most of the conscious travelers are always inclined to come to Sirikoi because we have a deep commitment to environmental sustainability. As part of our commitment to create a more conducive environment and for people and for the planet, and also the desire to join people who are like-minded. We joined the long run last year in March, and it has been a wonderful journey, I can say. So some of the challenges that we have been facing and that we wanted to solve when we stepped into sustainability. First of all, we wanted, to create land for natural land for wildlife habitat that they can thrive. Since, as I earlier mentioned, the land that was there was meant for agricultural activities, and being able to do a land exchange program, this meant that, we had more land for wildlife. We also wanted to solve the issue of land for community. What happened is that Sirikoi or Lewa is joined by the Borana and the Garendare ecosystem. So, and in between there's a community that is called Manyangalo community, and the community at some point, with now the 4 partners coming together, they didn't have land. And what happened is that once the land was bought, 300 acres of land was set aside aside for the Manyangalo community so that they can have somewhere to settle. So within the community, there was also the issue of unemployment, and we wanted also to create jobs and equal opportunities for all. And also when it comes to culture, we wanted also to create an authentic experience for our guests, whereby they could experience authentic culture, and also, meaning, and also that the community that owns that culture benefit in a win-win situation. So we also wanted to improve the education sector, which has been a challenge as well. So, and also by creating infrastructural development in schools. Another challenge that we wanted to solve as well was the problem of waste management. What happens is that as much as you can say that we are sustainable, if your wastes or what you produce from the lodge is not managed in a sustainable way, then there is a problem. So, and we also wanted to create a nutrition program and a healthy program within the community so that they also reap the benefits as well. Another one, we wanted to take care of the marginalized community, that is mostly the elderly and the disabled. And as I earlier mentioned, we wanted to create a balance between tourism, conservation, local livelihoods, and while preserving the local culture as well. There was also a need for local communities, including our own staff, our guests, to understand the importance of biodiversity, sustainability, and why we are working so hard to also preserve the culture. One of the presenter, I think a lady from Sri Lanka, mentioned that you cannot compromise guest luxury when it comes to sustainability, and you have to strike a balance between the two. So our accommodation, it's despite that it's luxurious, I can affirm that we do not, compromise the luxury of our guests with sustainability, and we try to strike a balance between the two. And all our guests get to experience intimate safaris and within the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, and we are on a commitment to conserve the 3,000 acres of natural habitat that we have secured just next to Lewa Conservancy. We encourage all our guests to support the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy by engaging in a massive conservation activities, and through going behind the scenes, they are able to see how first-hand conservation experience works in a remote part of Africa. As part of the resolution for solving our problems, we have come up with a number of strategies, and one of them is the environmental impact at our facility, and we have found ways to sustainably manage our waste. As you can see on the first photo where we have the waste management, we are able to create make sure that all our bottles that are produced within the lodge, which comprises one of the biggest percentage of our waste, do not end up into the landfill, where we convert them into beautiful flower vases and glass. We also compose all our food waste into manure for our beautiful organic garden that is within the lodge. And we also try to do a lot of water harvesting during the rainy season, so that when it comes to the dry season, we have a lot of water to water our lawns, and also make sure that our lawns stay green. We have a beautiful organic garden, which is 1 acre, which is organically farmed, no chemicals, no fertilizers. We get a bigger percentage of our vegetables and herbs from the garden, quite a good percentage of the berries, and 100% of our flour for the arrangement also come from our garden. So we are able to get that within the beautiful garden, and all our guests get to experience the back of house tours within the lodge. So what happens is that by visiting the garden and taking a back of house tour is one of the biggest highlight for our guests, and seeing firsthand how we can do organic farming, regenerative farming, by them getting to visit the solar bank, observing our sustainability and conservation effort, as well as the furniture making in our workshop. And also they get a unique opportunity to see our kitchen in full swing where their food is prepared. And it's really very rewarding for all our guests. And going behind the scenes has, brought a new dimension of approach for the luxury within the world at Sirikoi Lodge. And our back of house tours are mostly tailored to showcase to our guests that it is possible to achieve conservation and sustainability in a remote part of Africa or in a remote part of Kenya, and with all the challenges that present as well. So another project that we have gone into is the Seed Ball. So through partnering with an organization called the Seed Ball Kenya, we are able to give our guests some seed balls, and they can go on safari or on walking safaris, and they can just throw and grow. And what that means is that by using a catapult, they can throw the seed balls, and even if it takes about 2 to 3 months for the rains, when it rains, the seed balls will still germinate. Another thing is that the lodge is operated off the grid, so we are 100% on renewable energy, which is solar, and as you can see, some of the solar panels on the roof of the lodge. So job creation is one of the things that we sought to to come in and create opportunities for people. So up to 75% of our staff are all from the local community, that's being the immediate community and communities within a 50-kilometer radius. For only an 18-beds or 18-bed capacity lodge, we have about 84 staff, and 74 of those are all on site. Also on the education program, we wanted to create a program that so needy and bright kids go to school through scholarship and bursary. And what initially started as a project for just our staff has over time expanded so that we are able also to help other people who are not necessarily our staff as well. And also supporting the organic garden in schools so that also schools get to get a healthy and nutritious diet every day. So we have tried to help set up organic gardens in school. So far, we have about 2 organic gardens, and there's one that we help from advice point of view, and this has seen a tremendous improvement, especially whereby in an area where some kids go to school, especially without food, because they have to walk long distances home to either take their meals. One of the photos that you can see on the presentation is in about 3 months ago, we built the Impact Center, where we showcase to our guests, what it takes to achieve conservation, some of our projects that we are doing on site as well, when it comes to sustainability. And the Impact Center has also come in handy when it comes to, staff training, because it's one of the places that we use for our staff training as well. And this has seen a number of, so many guests come and appreciate the work that we are doing on site as well. Community support through the feeding programs. We also come in as an emergency aid for our community, which is right next to us. And it's about 5 to 10 minutes from where we operate. And this has really helped community appreciate and benefit from our lodge being in existence. We also have a carbon project. We have partnered with an organization called Natural States. And the Natural State, what it does is that it's helping to build the foundation of the nature-based solution sectors and in the tropics mostly, by developing a technology and a system whereby they measure by us creating exclusion zone, whereby we fence a part of land for trees to thrive. So Natural State will come in to measure the carbon that is below and above ground. And that also helps through that partnership, the information that is gotten from the project will be able to see whether the exclusion zone are really helping, or is it beneficial to create an exclusion zone as well. And in future, they vision the vision for the carbon project is so that people can also be able to reap the benefits of creating exclusion zones, and also the, through the, the offsetting projects as well. On some of the outcomes, as I mentioned, we support Lewa Wildlife Conservancies a lot through all our guests visiting the conservancy, and we can see about 450,000 USD is given by Sirikoi annually to Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, whereby they help take care of the endangered species, and also like fund some of their community and health programs as well. 12% of our profits are also invested in a community project like education, health, feeding, and emergency response. And we have about 12 students who have gone through high school. And we also, through the community project, we have reached about 7,000 people directly and indirectly. And also we have 5% of our profit being invested in the culture of the neighboring community. So these are some of the outcomes. The Elevate program, this is just a program that we created so that we can help the youth from our community get, employable skills. They come for a 3-month training, and then through the experience that they gain, they can become employable in other areas. There is also the youth empowerment program, whereby we just come in and help them, like through the football clubs. There's also the Kindle project that we have recently introduced in schools as well. And this aims to like revolutionize the learning experience for students in schools. And how we celebrate culture, we have the postcard stories. So unlike some of the areas that most people operate and only one culture is there. So for us, we have about 16 cultures in our community because it's mostly cosmopolitan. And we decided to celebrate culture through cultural inclusiveness and diversity. So we included all the 16 cultures through the postcard stories, and we are telling something little about each of the culture and each of the community that we work with. I mentioned about the education program as well as the impact center. So how does tomorrow, or what is our future plans look like? So last year, towards the end of last year, we decided to come up with the Sirikoi Trust, which will ground all these projects that I've mentioned. And also, it will also help us increase our scope and also our reach within the community, and we'll be able to offer programs like trade skills training for the community members, like microfinancing, bookkeeping, IT skills, the youth enterprise program as well, and support startup programs within the community. The beauty of the trust is that it will always have some money, because 2% of the revenue from the business, that is from the lodge, will be donated to the trust. And that means at any given time, should there be a project that needs to be supported, we will always have the funds for that. Currently, the beauty of our project is that, or our program and our operations, is that we do not, when it comes to impact, community and conservation impact, we do not really run on a specific budget. And so what happens is that we operate mostly from our profits, and we are always able to fund most of these impact projects whenever we are called upon to. So that's how our future.
Thank you so much, Susan.